Thank you for having me here. It is it's an honor and it's a pleasure, and it's such a rare opportunity to connect with other practitioners in Canada, which I haven't done. I think that there's a Canada is made of so many outposts, and they're they're linked in a way, and if you don't seek them out, you might not know that they're there. So it's wonderful. Now, I've known that you're where you are, but now to see your faces and to see your cat and to see all of it is is fantastic and immediately feels overdue. I won't talk long today. I would rather that we have a discussion, but because we're all in this similar category, or most of us here are, of being in Canada, a place that, for whatever reason, has not yet built as many structures around Buddhism, but Zen in particular, as we see in the United States and we see in other parts of the world. We're in an interesting position, and it's a position where I don't always know what to do, and maybe it feels that way to you as well. There's a question, I think, when we take up this practice beyond sitting in our living room, beyond reading books that inspire us, when we start to take up this practice as a community, when we start to form a community, we're asking ourselves, what are we doing it for? What's the function of this? What's the goal? And some of those goals, I think, they're very outward facing. We say, oh, we want to welcome people into the practice. We want to give them an opportunity to learn about Buddhism. We want to expose them to the teachings of the Buddha, whatever that is. But then still, why? We might know on a gut level that this is meaningful to me, so surely it's meaningful to someone else. But that may not be enough of a driving force for us to say, okay, let's open up my garage, let's open up my living room, let's open up a Zoom account, let's do this every single week or every single day or twice a day. There's something else that's pulling us. And I think that if we're honest with ourselves, two of those forces at least, and there are usually many, I think, but two of them are pretty clear. One, if we have discovered this tradition, if we've had the opportunity to dive into this tradition, is that we have this idea that maybe we're taking part in preserving something. Something that's been handed down. And we're looking to the past, we're looking to this history, we're seeing that, maybe we have a teacher, and maybe our teacher received something from their teacher, and on and on and on, and we think, I need to be part of this. Right? We need to be part of this. And whatever it is that we receive, we get to be part of this privileged place of holding that like this precious egg, right? And carrying it so that it doesn't break. That's one part. And then the other driving force, I think, is the idea that we're going to build something for the future. And so, I've been on a lot of boards. I've been in a lot of communities, and I've visited a lot of communities. And when there are meetings, the meetings are almost never about what are we doing right now. That's a very small part of the meeting. And once you get that done, then you talk about the big thing, which is, what are we doing next? Do we have enough money to do this? Do we have enough money to build the building? Do we have the resources to hold the sesshin? Do we have the community support to sponsor a monk? What do we have? Because this is always growing. It's always going to be a little bit bigger and a little bit broader and a little bit deeper. If we've made it this far to where we're sitting in a room with fellow practitioners, on some level we've been part of that conversation, either in community or in our own minds, about what it is that we're preserving and what it is that we're building going forward. I think about these things all the time. All the time. When I moved here, when I came to Canada, these were my driving questions in many ways, right? I'm thinking, how much can I share with people here in Nova Scotia of what I've learned so that something is preserved? And then I'm also thinking big. Oh, what can I build? Right? How can I get a lot of people in the door so that we can build something and then they can build something in the next. And you can tell as I'm saying this, there's a little bit of derision. You know, I feel these questions. I think we all feel these questions. I don't think we have a way out of these questions. And I think we should have a little sense of humor about these questions. This idea that we're standing at the center of a story where we're being handed something from one direction and we're handing something off in the other direction. And it all hinges on us and our ability to look in both directions at once and to do it just right. I've been here almost 10 years, and I've watched this community grow, and I've watched this community shrink. I've watched this community become what we never expected, which was a completely online community for years now. I've watched, as maybe you have, the cost of things go up so that the fantasies I have about building a temple go from building a compound to building a building to building a smaller building to maybe renting a room to getting a Zoom account, right? And I guess what I want to say, or as I was thinking about meeting with all of you today, what I wanted to say is that it's okay. And what I wanted to say is that we can give ourselves permission to let go, to a great extent, of these questions about preserving and building. There's koan, wonderful koan, and we were just discussing it in Hourbours, in which student goes to Baizhang and he says, how are we to hand down the teachings that we've received? That's the question. And Baizhang just sits perfectly still. He doesn't say anything, he doesn't do anything. And the student says, but if that's our attitude, if that's our approach, what will anybody get? And Baizhang says, they'll know that you're a true person. And that's it. A true person is a true person of no rank. That's the phrase that we like to throw around. Who has moved beyond ambition. There's a lot of talk. Dogen likes to talk about fame and profit. Fame and profit are they're the evil in Dogen's mind. Anytime that you move for fame and profit, when you speak for fame and profit, when you make a choice left or right because one has fame and profit and the other one has less, you're off the path. A true person has moved beyond fame and profit. A true person has moved beyond the idea that they're going to advance from where they are. Keizan, in his instructions for Zazen, talks about this. He says, at the very end, he says, be like cold ash. Be like a withered tree. Cold ash and withered tree, they've already fulfilled their function. They've reached fruition and they're done. There's nothing left for them to do. And so when they sit in this posture and with this breath and with these hands, they aren't doing it because they think that they're holding something precious, and they don't do it because they think that they're building something that will take them somewhere else. They're doing it because this is all there is. There's nothing left for them but this. This posture and this breath in this moment. I love this exchange with Baizhang because Baizhang doesn't tell us what to do. And at the same time, he makes very clear that what to do is taking place here. And it doesn't involve a narrative. It doesn't involve verbiage. It doesn't require an explanation. It's embodied and it's quiet and it's humble and it's not going to change. There is such a danger in imagining that we're going to preserve something, even though so much love goes into that act. When we hold on to that idea tightly, we become an institution. We stop being a practice. And so all of us, I think, I hope, have an opportunity where, we are outposts. We are connected, but we're a little bit alone. We have an opportunity to receive this beautiful, precious egg and to hold this beautiful, precious egg of this tradition, and also to acknowledge from that moment, from that beautiful moment of receiving, that it's going to break. It has to. There's no way around it. And we also have an opportunity, because none of us here have these huge buildings. We don't have the compounds. We haven't built Zempires across Canada. We have the capacity and the opportunity from where we sit now to view this entire project through the eyes of impermanence, and to understand that whatever we build today not only doesn't have to last, but it won't. Because nothing does. Nothing ever has. So we can release our grip with this hand, and then we can release our grip with this hand. And then we're just left with this. We're just left with the question. And this posture. And this breath. That's where I'll stop.